My name is Tiara Click. I'm the founder and CEO of When the Mind Clicks. And today I'm going to be doing an overview of a workshop that I facilitated for Melanin Moms Minds Matters, put on by Black Infant Health. This event, I was able to have the opportunity to come and do a public speaking engagement for the moms of the community. So I just want to share some of the information I provided at the event and also go over a tool that we covered called an eco map. Okay, so if you're looking for the section on the eco map, just go ahead and skip through the video until you see the image of the eco map that we discussed in the workshop, and let's dive in. So before I'm a therapist, I'm a woman. I'm a holder of stories and generational strength, and I know what it's like to be expected to hold it all together. But I can only imagine what that's like in motherhood. This presentation is geared toward mothers. However, if the information in this presentation or the title really call to you, please stick around because this information can be applied on a broader scope. So, Melanin Moms Minds Matter. All right, your well-being is not a luxury, it's a legacy rooted in strength and support. Okay, you deserve to feel whole. And what I mean by your wellness is not a luxury is people think self-care is this luxurious thing that if you get time to do it, you can take a bubble bath, right? No, wellness is the starting point. Your mental health, your wellness, your self-care is the starting point. It's a necessity. It is not a luxury. It's not some extra cherries on top. It is the banana split. Okay, so I want you to hear this from me loud and clear. You deserve rest. You do not have to earn your rest. You do not have to explain your exhaustion. You do not have to bury your emotions. Your feelings are valid. Your emotions are valid. You are allowed to be supported and you are allowed to express your needs. Strong Black woman. So today, we're going to make some space for that, okay? The narrative strong Black woman goes back so far, and I just want to destigmatize mental health really quick in the Black community because I feel like, we might hear someone's depressed and we're like, you're not depressed, you're feeling too deeply or whatever it is. Strong Black woman. You might say things like, I got it, I'll be fine, don't worry about me, baby, right? Strong Black woman. That's a badge that many of us were given and not always by choice. But it doesn't stop with us. Now we have children. Now we have people that rely on us. And it doesn't end with the self-neglect. It turns into, you'll be all right. Hush up. What do you got to cry about? You should be grateful. All of these things that really suppresses another person's emotions and doesn't validate them at all, but reinforces you need to be stronger than you're acting. Now, I want to be clear. At one point, honestly, these words may have served us, or we really believe that instilling these words in our loved ones will make them stronger. But the truth is, silence and strength without choice is just survival. And you deserve more than just survival. You deserve to thrive. We're not meant to simply endure the day, get through it, right? We aren't meant to parent from a place of depletion or masking. And that is exactly why I've made it my mission to become a mental health educator and advocate for mental health needs. Because thriving and not just surviving is our birthright, regardless of who told you different. With that being said, today I want to talk about 3 simple yet powerful components in mental health that really help you to step out of that survival mode and thrive. Number 1 is reframing. Number 2 is self-care. And number 3 is building your support system, okay? So number 1, we'll start with reframing. Reframing is an art of shifting your thoughts, your language, your lens, your perspective, and it can be broken down into a few different ways. So reframing can be rewriting your internal dialogue from saying things like, I'm failing to I'm figuring it out. Reframing can be how you interpret someone else's behavior, okay? Maybe they're not ignoring me, they're just overwhelmed too, right? Reframing can also be reframing what you think about things like asking for help. If I ask for help, that makes me weak. No, it makes you wise to seek counsel and support. Okay, so reframing helps us to move from thoughts that are negative and neglectful and honestly loud to thoughts that are empowering, peaceful, and constructive. Mental strength starts in the stories we tell ourselves. I'm going to say that again. Mental strength starts with the stories that we tell ourselves. So let's make those stories kind, truthful, rooted in care, and constructive, okay? So now let's move on to self-care. First and foremost, self-care is not always bubble baths and wine in the tub, although let me tell you that is self-care, okay? But self-care is also setting boundaries, saying no, being mindful of your time, not leaning into burnout and overexerting yourself. So I want to share 3 different categories of self-care that are often overlooked. So there's micro-care. Micro-care are tiny, deep breathing exercises you might do for a couple of minutes. Turning on a playlist to make you feel at peace. Closing your eyes and just doing nothing. Number 2 is community care. Accepting help. Asking for support. Being honest about who feeds you and fuels you and pours into you. And being honest about who depletes you. And lastly, preventative care. Okay, that is the proactive care, my favorite kind of care, getting ahead of it. That's scheduling therapy. That's preparing your meals for the week. That's taking a digital detox for your nervous system before it actually demands one. Being proactive is getting ahead of the ball, and again, my favorite form of self-care. And I mean, let's be real, emergency self-care is what we do when we're already breaking down. But mental hygiene is what we do daily to avoid the breakdowns. Mental fitness is just as important and closely aligned with physical fitness, right? So you don't just go to the gym one time, do a bunch of sit-ups, do a bunch of weights, run a mile, and say, oh, I'm bulked up now, I'm swole for the rest of my life. No, you need to keep going to the gym. And after 6 or so months, you'll start to see progress. And you'll maintain progress if you stay consistent with your gym, your eating habits, your physical fitness. The same goes for mental fitness. So you don't just do one thing to check in on yourself or one thing to practice self-care. It's a daily activity to show up for yourself. Don't wait to be in a crisis to start taking care of yourself, okay? You deserve to feel good now and not just when everything's falling apart. And the last thing I want to cover is building your support system. I want to be honest, as Black people, I know a lot of times we might have trauma around community or our family or relationships, but we're adults now, and it's time to start identifying our tribe. Taking action and acknowledging who actually pours into us. Who do we feel safe around? Who do we see children interacting with beautifully? Who do we see showing up for us and saying, hey, call me if you need me? Be mindful of your community and your tribe, but it doesn't just stop at your friends and your family. Rely on your community service providers and community groups because we heal faster and more fully when we're in community. We're humans, okay? So let's take action. Now, at the workshop, I had everyone complete an eco map. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys an eco map. 1 second. So on the screen, you're going to see an eco map. In the center is going to be the individual. That individual is you. So instead of Kirk, I would be in the middle of this eco map, Tiara, right? So in the center, you put your name. Around your bubble, you are going to place people and environments. It doesn't matter if you're on good terms, bad terms, we are putting down anything and anyone that you have frequent connection with and has an impact on your life, for better or for worse. So when we put these things or people around us, we want to be as specific as possible. So on this eco map, you'll see service provider. But if you're writing service provider, I want you to put Lisa, my therapist. You'll also see part-time job. On part-time job, I want you to put Wells Fargo. Friend, you'll see friend. I want you to put Jacob. Parent, I want you to identify, are you talking about your mom or your dad? They do need separate bubbles. Wife, put your wife's name. Neighbors, put your neighbor's name. Okay? So on the eco map, what you're going to see is lines connecting you to each bubble. A straight single line indicates that the relationship exists. That's it. The relationship exists. So the line between Kirk and his part-time job, Wells Fargo, it exists. Okay. A bold line, such as the line between Kirk and his service provider, his therapist Lisa, is bold because the relationship is strong. But if you notice, there's an arrow on that. The arrow on the line indicates that the service provider pours into Kirk. Kirk does not have an arrow going to his service provider because Kirk does not do anything for his therapist. His therapist is a service provider and is there for him. Next, you see the line between Kirk and his neighbor. That line is dotted. A dotted line indicates that the relationship is weak or ambivalent. You see the arrow goes to his neighbor, but not back to Kirk. That means Kirk shows up for his neighbor, but doesn't really receive anything from the neighbor. So Kirk might have given the neighbor a housewarming gift, or watched the neighbor's dog at some point, or maybe waves at the neighbor and the neighbor never says anything back. You know, it's just how it is. You'll see the line between Kirk and his wife. It is not bold. It is just a simple, skinny line indicating the relationship simply exists. This line has 2 dashes through it. That indicates that the relationship is strained or severed. And lastly, you see the relationship between Kirk and his parent. Again, be specific about which parent. That line is bold and there are arrows going both ways. That means Kirk pours into his parent, the parent pours into Kirk. It's a reciprocal 2-way relationship. What you'll notice is you might begin to see a pattern amongst your relationships, and this is where self-assessment comes in. If you notice all of your relationships are dotted and weak, maybe you're not building any strong connections, and that might tell you something. If you notice every relationship has dashes through them, all of them are severed, or there's some sort of strain on the relationship, well, that's time to reflect either on yourself, what is happening within you that all of your relationships are strained, be honest, or you are in the wrong circle and you might want to change your tribe and the people you connect with by setting boundaries or finding new people. If all of your relationships have arrows coming into you, but you have no arrows going out, that means everyone around you is showing up for you, but you're not reciprocating. What does that mean? If all your arrows are going out and none are coming back to you, reflect on that. Some people might have a bunch of strong lines and reciprocal arrows. That's information too. With that being said, share your eco map with someone you trust, whether it's your therapist or a Christian counselor or a trusted friend who's unbiased and really intentional about your well-being, and figure out what needs to happen in your situations. Do you need to start setting boundaries? Do you need to start expressing yourself, advocating for yourself? Do you need to start showing up for people more? What needs to happen? Do you have to take your off-track relationships and put them back on track? Do you have to take some of these off-track relationships and sever ties with them? What does it mean? Each eco map is going to look different, and it's up to you to explore your own map and figure out how to navigate it. But this tool is super helpful, and I really hope that it comes in handy for some of you who are willing to complete this activity. With that being said, continue to love yourself. Remember, your well-being is not a luxury, it's a legacy, it's a necessity. Showing up for yourself is the best thing you could do, not only for you in this vessel, because you're the only one who can carry yourself through life, but it's the best thing you can do for the people around you. It's the best thing you can do for your baby. And you deserve to feel whole, soft, rested, and supported. Now, strong Black woman, I invite you to show up for you. Please feel free to reach out and connect with me. If you have any questions, drop some comments below. You might be able to find your tribe in the chat and build a community off of that. Otherwise, continue to work on yourself, continue to love yourself, validate yourself, don't be hard on yourself, forgive yourself, and remember, when the mind clicks, so does everything else.